The last time we spoke was a year ago, and Alex had just gone into hospital. And I never told you he'd come out again, so he might still be in there for all you know. He did come out. He was in hospital for 2 weeks. He had several blood transfusions. He nearly had to have a pretty big life-changing procedure, but instead, for now, he's on some different medication that's working quite well. Because he'd not been feeling well leading up to going into hospital, his hair had got so long and he hadn't gone to get it cut. He's the kind of guy who washes his hair every single morning, and if he doesn't, he feels disgusting and he can't do anything, he can't go out. So he felt so horrible in hospital, bless him, and he was so excited to come out. And the first day he come out, we booked in a haircut at home for him, and that was like his welcome home party. He doesn't normally have it just completely shaved, short and simple, but you know, he was in for a lot of recovery ahead, and he just needed a fresh start. This is not something you're just going to suddenly recover from, so he still has his ups and downs with it. But you remember the last video I said how stubborn I was, that I would force the universe to let me have him back. He was well enough for some of the last summer that he came out with us and made memories with us and did things with us. Just him being there, that's such a huge deal for us and for Lana, because we can't explain to her, you know, Daddy's not well. But her little face when she smiles at him when he's there, I can just tell that she's happy that Daddy's coming on these adventures as well.
Good girl. Yes. More? One more? One more. Fill the seeds. That's it. All done. All done.
All done.
Put up there. Ready? On that one. Good girl. All done. Really good.
I have so much footage from last year, so before we can catch up to where we are now, I'm going to dump some of this footage on you. I have a car now. I have been able to drive for over 10 years, but I could never afford a car. And I lived right near a bus station and worked from home for a decade, so it was just an expense that I could never justify. I still couldn't afford one. I only have this car because my brother gave it to me. It's his old car, and I am paying him for it, but he's letting me pay it, you know, as and when I can afford it. But it's been absolutely life-changing, particularly with Lana. You know, I can take her out to groups and appointments, and it's just life-changing. Although Lana goes through periods of hating the car, refusing to get in it, and that's a whole other thing. But for the most part, it's been absolutely brilliant. After about 2 years desperately wanting to move, we finally found somewhere. And after the excitement, it then hits you, oh, I have to move. I have to actually move all this stuff. I just can't believe I'm going to be rid of the stress of our neighbour. It's been such a constant thing that like I've normalised it, and I can't go in my garden, and I have to be careful when I go out the house. The only time I got a break from those feelings is every weekend when I go to my mum's. And that's, you know, the only way that I've managed, honestly. I don't know how I'm going to feel when I'm suddenly there and it's just not a thing anymore. I even feel bad talking about him like this because I still wonder if there's some misunderstanding. But if only he knew like the stress that he puts us through. And it's gonna be over. As thrilled and relieved as I was to be able to leave that house, I found myself really emotional and still thinking about that house like it's someone I've left behind. It's not the house's fault, you know? And I sort of wish I could have had a moment on my own in the empty house, like saying goodbye. I didn't get that because it was so chaotic and with Lana and just doing everything, and my car kept breaking down. I didn't really get to say goodbye, but I often think about it. We lived there for 9.5 years. We went through so many different phases of life. We went through the lowest lows of our life in that house, and we went through the highest highs. We got married, we had a baby. I spent a lot of my life there, you know. When I'm old and looking back on my life and telling stories about it, a huge part of it is going to be centered around that I lived there and I did all these things. As excited as I am, I'm nervous because whether I like it or not, this is a new epoch of life. This is a new chapter. I had this strange feeling when I first walked in and looked around, and I didn't know yet that this would be our new home. I was thinking, is this where all the terrible things in my life are going to happen? Is this where the best things in my life are going to happen? I was like looking at the walls just thinking, are we going to get to know each other? And it turns out we were. We moved mid-December, which was kind of exciting because for me, in my head, like we'd been wanting to move for a lot longer than the 2 years that we'd been being harassed. It's just the 2 years really made us like hurry up and try harder. But every year I had sort of marked Christmas as like, oh, another Christmas in this house, I guess. And every year I sort of said, I wonder if this year I'll be putting the tree up in a new house. So to move in December was like particularly significant for me. It was kind of a pain as well because like everyone's busy and booked. My car broke down and apparently everyone's trying to get their cars fixed and serviced before making journeys at Christmas to see their families, so no one could fix my car over Christmas. But all that aside, it was lovely. It was a real stripped back Christmas. You know, there was just boxes everywhere. I just made sure that Lana's room was set up and that we set up the Christmas tree. And I put a wreath on the front door because I've always wanted a wreath on my front door, but I couldn't in the old house because it would have been stolen. We've been moved in about 2 weeks, but it feels like 2 days, to be honest. It's all going really quick. I'm using my phone as a microphone because my microphone's not working. One of the reasons that we were really desperate to move was because our neighbour was like harassing us. The neighbours that we really got on with that lived the other side of him, they left because of him as well. So he now has an empty house either side of him because both of his neighbours left because he's such a dick. It's interesting how my body, my brain is reacting to things. For example, in the old house, anytime I banged up against the wall by accident, I would, you know, get this spike of anxiety because I'm thinking, oh God, he's going to come round and he's going to kick off. And I found myself still doing that here when I'm making a noise up against the wall. I'm like, my body is like 50% still doing the same thing, flooding me with this feeling of dread. And then I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Tucker's handled it really well. There was one pee-pee incident.
We did have one wee, a misplaced wee, but we'll overlook that.
He assures me it won't happen again.
Oh, my candle! Watch that butt.
The Christmas.
Yeah, the cat's looking at the Christmas things, isn't he?
Lana's also handled it really well. I had so many different plans in place for the transition and how to help her cope with it. But for the most part, she's embraced it. We called this Lana's house. So before, our old house we called Daddy's house because we at times were there so little because of our neighbour. We would go crash at my mum's as much as we could to escape him. So we had Nanny Granddad's house, and then we called that Daddy's house because that's where Daddy was. That's wherever we saw Daddy, in this house. So then this house, when we moved here, we called it Lana's house. I made sure that the first room that was completely done was her bedroom, so she's got this beautiful little sanctuary. She spent like all of yesterday in her room, and I wasn't allowed in. She would come to the top of the stairs to request food, and then like I would knock on the door, pass her the food through, and she would be like, bye mummy, and shut the door. And I was watching her on the baby monitor, obviously. But it's like a little teenager. It was so cute. Her nickname's Cheese, so of course I've been calling her a Cheenager. Teenage dirtbag. Alex is also very happy because we live near a pub that has regular karaoke, and that's like my worst nightmare, and it's his dream come true.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. It's brilliant. And yeah, I've had lots of fun. I've been there twice, and I'm going to go again for my birthday.
And I just sit there like watching him silently. And one of the women there was like, do you sing as well? I was like, no. Like, I'm just married to the man who like won't stop singing. And you're never going to hear me sing. There's a lot of work I want to do on this house. I'm trying to contain myself till spring and until I have money, because I've spent all my money on the move and on some of the initial things to sort of make it feel like home and to get carpets. I haven't even got carpets in every room yet. I can't afford it. So we're just walking on like the underlay in some rooms. It's just going to be very slow chipping away at doing all these little things and making it feel like home. Particularly in the spring, I can't wait to get out and do the gardens. I've barely been out in the gardens other than to feed the birds, and there's so much work to do. My mum came round and helped me do like an initial sweep of some of the trash.
I can't get it out.
Oh God. Oh my God. Drinks bottles. Oh. Is that a door off a car or something?
It's off a caravan.
A caravan door. It's so odd because my mum moved into her house when she was my age, and the house is very similar in some of the layout and like these little outside sheds. They're sort of exactly the same, and it was a similar thing with my mum's house where the garden was like a treasure trove of random stuff. There was like toys hidden in there and all sorts of strange trash. And over the past 2 decades, she's been making that garden into what it is now, which is a beautiful little paradise. It's not like absolutely perfect and like nothing out of place and like the kind of garden where you're scared to have fun, Has pockets of this beautiful nature areas, and then like fun little whimsical areas, and then like functional, crappy, messy areas. The wildlife loves it. It's a real blessing on the family, and I appreciate it a lot. So I feel that responsibility to make my own little Eden now that I have the opportunity. We've got peanuts for Squiggle. We've got more birdseed for birdies. We've got worms for birdies. More exotic options for birdies. We've got some fat balls. Oh, shit. Okay, don't shake it. Okay. Okay.
Not really looking.
know. I'm wrapping presents at 8 in the morning to do it when Lana's not around. Do you remember a few years ago, Tesco had these beautiful little mushroom tags? I posted about them because I loved them so much. They were only 50p, so I bought enough packs to last me quite a few Christmases. I haven't even opened more than one pack because I just take the tags back when people have opened things and use it again next year. I got one pack of polar bears as well, but I don't like them as much. I'm fully aware as well that I'm like cringe mushroom obsessed 2024 girl. You know, like, do you remember when everyone was, it was like pineapples was the thing. Artichokes seems to be like the thing for a certain demographic that's not me, but I know artichokes are some people's thing. Cactus as well, cacti, that was the thing at one point. Hey, that's my tag. I did a photo shoot the day after we moved in, which was quite a lot, but I didn't want to cancel, you know, it's really close to Christmas. I think in my next video, I'll properly go through a bunch of the photo shoots I've done lately and catch up with you, because a bunch of you might not care, but I really enjoyed documenting my photography journey, just in like little chunks of updating you on where I'm at. But I'll do that next time, because there's been a lot going on in this video already. My voice keeps breaking. What's going on with me? I hope you all have a lovely Christmas and New Year. Enjoy this little pocket of time after Christmas where the buzz has died down. Pardon me, my voice is still trying to leave. Enjoy yourself. I'll go while I've got some voice left to say goodbye. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.